Welcome to today's feature video for Incari Studio 2024. As you can see, I have simply created a few geometric objects in this 2D scene. Using these as an example, I would like to show you the basic functions of layouting and working with frames in Incari Studio. To lay out objects, we need a frame. We create this by right-click with the mouse in the scene outliner. In order to lay out objects with the help of frames, we have to add them first. This is easily done by drag and drop in the scene outliner. I can make the frame slightly larger by clicking on the corner. If we now move the frame, the objects move with it. It is of course possible to position the objects subsequently. We are talking about classic parenting here. To lay out the objects, we take a look at the attribute settings of the frame. Under Layout, we can choose between vertical and horizontal. As you can see, the objects are aligned depending on the selected layouting type. The second thing you will notice is that the size of the frame has changed. This is due to the resizing attributes, which are set to hug constraints by default. The frame assumes the size of the bounding box of all objects. In the drop-down menu under Alignment, we find various layout options such as center middle or bottom right. Under Gap, we can adjust the distance between the objects. And with Padding, we can set the distance between the individual sides of the frame and the objects. To be able to show the rendering order, I set the gap to a minus value so that the objects overlap. The rendering order determines which object is to be rendered above which and refers to the order in the scene outliner. If we now select Last on Top, we reverse the order. If we want to change the size of the frame, we must first set the resizing attributes to fixed distance. And with the crop function, we can cut off objects. Finally, I would like to apply this briefly using our already familiar example project. We take our media player screen and create the song list quickly and efficiently. Our song list consists of the following 4 elements: song number, name and duration, as well as a dividing line. At first, I lay out the text elements by dragging them into a frame and setting this to horizontal layout. The order of the objects can be easily adjusted in the scene outliner. Next, I set the distance between the objects under Gap. 100 is a pretty good value for now. Then we want to connect the text elements with the separator line. I create another frame and now drag our content frame with the line object into the new frame. Here I set the layout to vertical, to arrange the objects one below the other, and set the spacing using Gap. I add some free space in the padding tab so that the list doesn't become too narrow later on. Finally, I create the third and last frame to finalize the list. I add the track item frame and set the layout to vertical again. Now all you have to do is duplicate the track item frame as often as necessary, and the list creates itself. In the Gap tab, you can set the distance between the individual tracks. After a few adjustments like font, style, and masking, it could look like this media player design here in our project. That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next feature episode.